aquarianradio.com.
Aloha, this is Enki. You know me as Aquarius, and this is our age, the Sata Yuga. Time to celebrate with us. We have programs on all chakra tantra, love styles and relationship choices, counseling strategies and techniques that you can use at home. We have extraterrestrial radio where we deal with alienology, paranormal people, and we have an experiencers network. We have a section called Ancient Aliens, and the programs therein are Enki Speaks, Nimma, the Mother of Humanity, has her program, and we revise ancient anthropology. And most important of all, we have peace paradigms, because this is the age of peace. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derisions. Golden living dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelations, and the mind's true liberation.
This is Enki.
It is I who 300,000 years ago created your race, and 200,000 years ago it was a lot of fun, made it even better with some of the pretty girls. And it is I who saved you from the flood, and it is I and my beloved Nimma and my son Ningashiga Thoth who are here to help you overcome my runaway son Marduk or Allah, my brother Enlil or Yahweh, and free yourself from all the supposed gods and recognize your own great potential. You have much to teach us, and we, Anunnaki, those of us from Nibiru, welcome full partnership.
And here are your hosts, Janet and Dr. Sasha Lesson.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Aquarian Talk Radio Network on Aquarian Radio at aquarianradio.com. Today is May 4th, 2014, and I am your host, Janet Lesson, the bearer of Nimma Consciousness, and my co-host is Dr. Sasha Lesson, who has his PhD in anthropology from UCLA. And today's show is an episode of Enki Speaks, and it is entitled Giants from Planet Nibiru Made Us from Their Genome. That's the long title. The short title for Spreaker, which only lets us do a short title, is Alien Giants from Nibiru Made Us, meaning human beings.
Sitchin translated the details the Sumerians wrote about the gold miner extraterrestrials from the planet Nibiru, they're called the Anunnaki, who told them about the creation of a slave race 300,000 years ago. And that's us, we're the slave race. They created us from the genome that they had, the Nibiruan genome. Janet will start our summary of how they engineered this feat. Notice as she shares Sitchin's version of how the Nibiruans came to make our race within their genome, that this version explains far more than the confused Bible story's creationism, and far more than the disproven Darwinian theory of gradual evolutionism. Pi called what the Anunnaki did with their genome to adapt it to Earth interventionism. He showed that even the few genes of Earth's hominoid, Homo erectus, that the Anunnaki added to their genome to create us, were also the result of terraformers' earlier work.
And that's Lloyd Pi, who is now deceased. So here's the overview. Enki got miners from Earth from Nibiru to strike so he could adapt the Nibiruan genome with copper, clay, and erectus genes to Earth for mine workers and potential allies against Enlil, his brother Enlil. Enki, Ningashita, his son, and Nimma, his sister wife, who supplied the mitochondrial DNA.
Nimma wasn't the wife.
Well, she was the sister. And they created Adamu, red, brown, skinned with black hair. And Tiamat came out blue-eyed and blonde. And they are the first breeding pair. Adama and Tiamat bred Adamite earthlings continually from 300,000 years ago and onward. 200,000 years ago, Enki begat Adapa and Titi with two girls descended from Adamu. Adapa and Titi bred Cain and Abel and the Adapite earthlings. So, and Dr. Lesson, Sasha, will give us more details.
Some 300,000 years ago, when the only Homo sapiens on Earth were the Anunnaki, Enki, the chief scientist for the Nibiru gold mining expedition to Earth, went north. He went to the Great Rift Valley in southeast Africa to study an intelligent, fire-using hominoid known as Homo erectus. And Homo erectus is the ancestor of modern Neanderthals that are still here, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and Alma. And he felt that the genes he could get from Homo erectus would be key to adapting Nibiru genome to Earth so that these people that he created would be able to thrive here on this planet. Enki noted that Homo erectus reasoned. He freed animals from traps, which blew everybody's mind. Erectus communicated telepathically rather than with words. Intrigued, Enki built a lab in Zimbabwe to see if Erectus's genes could help adapt the Nibiru genome to Earth. Now, Enki's had been ordered by King Anu of Nibiru to just run the gold mining in Southeast Africa. But instead of actively running it all the time, Enki let his assistant, a guy named Enugi, run the actual mining operation. Anu demanded ever more gold be sent to Nibiru. On Nibiru, the scientists would powder the gold and then float it up all around Nibiru to protect Nibiru from the climate extremes and radiation. The miners from Nibiru had been lured to Earth. They thought there'd be a chance to be real heroes, and they would help save Nibiru with the gold that they dug from Earth. Well, the miners from Nibiru found that the reality of the work in the dark and dirty mines was just torturous. They complained also that Enugi overworked them. Well, Enugi radioed Enki in Zimbabwe. He said, the miners might mutiny. Well, Enki sided with the miners. It was all part of his plot. He got the miners to first send less and less gold to shrink the gold shipments, and then lure Enlil to the mines to see what was wrong, and then trap him. And then Enki had it all planned. He'd save Enlil, he'd free the miners from Nibiru at the same time. All Enlil had to do, Enki plotted, was to let him, Nima, and Ningishita engineer Earth-adapted miners with the worker race they would create. They would free the miners from the dirty work, and they'd get their work done.
When the miners withheld the gold for the refinery at Bad Tabira in Iraq, Enlil sent his son Ninurta to investigate. And the miners were backbiting and lamenting, and in the excavations they were grumbling. And they, quote, "Unbearable is the toil. Call Enlil to the mines," Enki told Ninurta. "Let the commander see how the miners suffer." When Enlil and his vizier Nusku arrived, they said, "Let us unnerve Enlil." Mind-working heroes shouted, "Of the heavy work, let him relieve us. Let us proclaim war with hostilities. Let us gain relief." To their tools they set fire, and they set fire to their axes they put. They held Enugi hostage, and with tools as torches surrounded the house Enlil occupied. And then Enlil beamed Anu to shuttle to Earth and shoot the miners' leaders and their instigator, implying Enki, his brother. But the miners wouldn't let Ninurta, who led or incited them. But Anu...
He wouldn't tell Ninurta.
They wouldn't.
They didn't tell.
They wouldn't tell Ninurta. The miners wouldn't tell Ninurta. So Ninurta was Enlil's son. And Anu communicated back to Enlil that he empathized with the miners. Ninurta wanted new miners from Nibiru, so Enlil wanted the mutineers executed. So they had a standoff. Yeah.
No. It's like not at all. What happened is Enki wanted this surprise that he's going to spring on them. Ninurta told Enki, "Why don't you just make super tools? You're a great tool maker." Enlil says, "Heck with a tool thing. Kill all the mutineers." So there's three positions there, really.
Okay.
So Enki said, "Look, instead of this is a quote, let us create a Lulu, a primitive worker, the hardship to take over. Let the being the toil of the Anunnaki carry on his back. The being that we need already exists. All we have to do is put our mark, the mark of our essence, that is our genes, on him, thereby a Lulu, a primitive worker, shall be created. Enki showed Erectus to Enlil and to Ninurta, and he said, Ninurta and Nigashita, my son, their fashioning essence, that is DNA structure, has tested. Akin to ours it is, like two serpents. Their fashioning structure is entwined. When with our life essence it shall be combined, our mark upon them shall be, and a primitive worker shall be created. Our commands will he understand, our tools he will handle. The toil in the excavations he shall perform. To the Anunnaki and the Abzu, relief shall come.
Enlil objected, don't create slaves. Slavery has from Nibiru long been ended. Tools are slaves, not other beings. Ninurta told Enki, make machines, not slaves. Earthlings we create, said Enki, shall helpers, not slaves, be. Enlil shouted, to create hybrid beings is in the rules of planetary journeys forbidden.
Enki responded, a new species create we shall not. The ape-man, Erectus, is in his fashioning essence, genotype, just as we of Nibiru are. Our ancestor, maybe, the ape-man is. Into us he evolves. Speed ape-man we shall, speed him but some million years of years to what has always been his destiny, to become like the Nibirans. Enki and Enlil beamed Anu and the council on Nibiru with their quarrel. Each brother had his say to the council. Enki said, "Make the worker race." Enlil said, "Nope, don't you dare do it." The king and the council, however, ratified Enki's proposal. Make the race. Nibiru sent Earth the message: gold must be obtained. Let the being be fashioned. Forsake the rules of planetary journeys and let Nibiru be saved.
Enki, Nima, and Nigashita experimented. They spliced genes into their genome. They created combinations of their own genome and a genome of Erectus with other creatures, like the centaur, griffin, cyclops, minotaur. Enki and Nigashita serviced Erectus women but failed to impregnate them, so they gathered their own seed and in test tubes fertilized Erectus ova to create zygotes. Then they planted the zygotes in Erectus women. The first babies born of the Erectus women lacked vision, hand dexterity, or internal functioning. So to beat these defects, Nima created the next zygote in a vessel of copper and African clay instead of a test tube. But this zygote grew into a child who couldn't talk. Then in the clay vessel, the admixture they made, the ovo of a earth female with the Anunnaki male essence they put together. The fertilized egg into the womb of Nima by Enki was inserted. There was conception. To a male child, Nima birth was giving. Enki, the boy child, held in his hands the image of perfection was he. He slapped the newborn on his hind parts, and the newborn uttered the proper sounds. He handed the newborn to Nima, and she said, "My hands have made it." Victoriously, she shouted. The boy's skin was reddish-brown like the clay of Africa. His penis sported a foreskin which the Anunnaki males lacked.
Once Nima had Adamu, the prototype for the primitive worker, she radioed the med center at Sharuabak. She said she needed 7 doctors to volunteer their wombs for the offspring of Adamu. His essence alone, she said, as a mold shall be. Nima and the doctors swore that they would love and support the babies they'd bear. In 7 vessels of clay of Africa, Abzu, Nima put the zygotes, which were basically Ningashita's and Enki's sperm, had fertilized these eggs, and put them in vessels. And then she made an incision in the male part of Adamu and let a drop his penis and let a drop of blood out.
Okay, so let this a sign of light be, that flesh and soul have combined, let it forever proclaim. She squeezed the male part for blood, 1 drop in each vessel. To the admixture she added, "In this clay's admixture, earthling with Anunnaki shall be bound. To a unity shall the 2 essences, one of earth, one of heaven, together be brought. In the wombs of the birth-giving heroines, the fertilized ovules were inserted. I'm going to stop it. Sorry.